And in the sense of how do I train Ben to take the hits, I got to be real. I got to hit him. So right now in my training with him, I'll crack a shot at his ribs or his stomach and punch him and kick him. And the director kind of likes this because the deal was in training him, because I believe fighting should be taken to an extreme level of reality. So with DareDevil, if he's going to take the hit, let's make the body prepared and the mind. But the frustrating part for Ben right now is I'm beating on him in so many different ways, and his frustration's in his face. But the key is when he starts on the movie, I'm going to say, now, let it go. See, he can't hit me back. He's not allowed to, because I'll be out of a job then. But really it is, you can frustrate an actor so much when you're training them, but you got to contain it, suppress it. Then when it's time to fight, say, now let it go.
Basically, I break it down to show them this is the distance, this is a safe distance. You throw punches or kicks or swing weapons at this safe distance, and it will look like you're getting very close. Then from there, I work with their natural talents that they have as a base and sort of expand on that and build on it to make it even pop and shine, basically.
Should we go into the second piece? Or do you want to do this? Okay.
It didn't happen overnight. He really has to suffer real training that would normally take us maybe a year. Like The Matrix, they train 6 months for The Matrix. I'm doing this guy in like a quarter of the time on the time I've got to work with him. So that kind of training for an actor, I take my hat off. A lot of respect to them. And people should, understand that it's not an easy job to make them do things that took me years to develop and train. He's doing it in minute time.
Jennifer is very proficient at using the size, and I can usually tell when an actor is usually uncomfortable or feels a little pressed by certain moves or feels a little uncomfortable with certain moves. So I'll tune into that and make an adjustment to make them feel more comfortable, or swap it out for a rubber or plastic weapon. But she's become very proficient at it and is very, very good at it. And I can usually tell within the first 10 or 15 minutes how I'm going to be able to work with an actor and how capable they are.
Jen, if it feels cleaner, you can just do the turn and then start twirling it too. Maybe it feels better just to do a whip from there.
Like that?
Yeah, you can do one of those. It's great. And it's also nice because it's more of the ballet stuff before we get into the really violence, you know what I mean? It'll give us somewhere to build from.
Slower? It was just like learning to play the piano. I would give myself little drills to do in my backyard, and I would say, okay, 10 flips going forward, 10 flips going backwards, with the right hand, with the left hand, with both hands, with the right hand, and then figure eights, backwards, figure eights, backwards. And I would make myself do that every chance I had.
D-mark. Set.
I push very heavily for a widescreen format because I think that you could say a lot more in a widescreen format. The idea that you can isolate someone in a frame, that you can throw the weight of a frame around, you can Dutch a frame, and what you can do with that, the energy of that, the emotion of it is really huge. So that's why we pushed for a widescreen format. From there, I find for myself, I grew up with photographers in terms of my references. Nan Golden, Bruce Davidson are photographers that I find really absolutely exceptional, and they were great for this project for the main reason that they both photograph outsiders. They both photograph people who don't live in the same reality that everyone else lives in and somehow are isolated and different.
To Mark's incredible credit, this guy wanted to know everything about what it was like to be blind. He wanted to know about how I could interact all the senses. He was fascinated with the machines I used, the reading machines and stuff that I used to communicate in a contemporary world. He was interested in all of my fears and phobias.
Do you mind?
No, it's just sometimes I think it makes other people uncomfortable, so I...
There's a scene where Electra and Matt Murdock are dancing at the ball, and some of the dialogue there was based on a conversation that Tom shared with us between he and his wife, and how she got dressed one night, you know, knowing that he would never see it, but she wanted to get dressed up for him, and it was very sweet, and so we used that.
It was so beautiful for you.
Right here, right this way.
I've played a lot of characters that were actual living people, and what you learn from that experience, like Rocky Marciano, there's a certain responsibility you have to capturing their spirit, but by the same token, you have to bring life and bring yourself to it. Now, a comic book character, it's even, you know, more the case, because comic book characters tend to be very one-dimensional. And I think that in casting me and Ben together, you capture an aspect of the relationship that sort of reflects what's in the comic books, but brings a greater dimension to it. You know, we're really, Ben and I think, share a common sense of humor. And so, you know, the chemistry on screen, I think, reflects that, because we're having a lot of fun together.
Yeah, fine. There's a little much. Yeah, that was a little big. Yeah. I feel like we've done the chair bit in every court in the city. It's not...
You have to bring the pimp cane.
It doesn't... It disturbs people. It doesn't engender sympathy. It's disturbing. It crosses a line. You know, we're trying to be manipulative, not horrified.
Oh, yeah.
We spend a lot of time on the set joking around, and it's a fun set. Everybody really gets along well, which is not always the case. It doesn't always make for a great movie, but it certainly made for a great experience of shooting the film.
Great. That's a cut. That was good.
Even though he's an inquisitor, he's an actor asking questions, and that's what actors do. You see John Favreau at work. Go ahead, ask you some questions. Go ahead, John.
Throw him the puppy line. Just throw it to him.
Yeah. What are we trying to find out here?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. What's up? How's it going? What's up, MTV? What's up? I don't like it. Project Greenlight. You think everything's Project Greenlight?
Hudson's going to pay us in. Chronic?
And as long as I could sort of bring a little bit of humor and a little bit of lightness to an otherwise heavy and dark piece, I think I've done my job.
No. Which is really annoying. Hey, watch it! I got a blind guy going here. Use the crosswalk, asshole. I love this city.
You want to do the crucifix? You want to do the first one in the morning?
Do the crucifix.
Do the crucifix?
Do it once here, and then at the end, as a result of fucking the hands getting hit, it'll just automatically go into that. So
Yeah.
Twice
You
in
wanna
the
do
same
this?
church.
Right.
Mark Stephen Johnson, who wrote it, with such a labour of love for him, and he's got such passion about it, so that's great to be around. First one's a warning. Padre. You. I mean, I read some of the character research. I read some of the comics Mark sent me when I went home to Dublin before I started work on it. Because there's not much preparation you can do for the part I'm playing. It's not constricted by the realms of reality, and you couldn't really, you know, get into character or do some character research. What was I going to do? Go around the streets of fucking Los Angeles with a paperclip, killing people, and pencils, stabbing them in the neck. So I mean, yeah, the thing about this, which is why it's so much fun, is because I've never done a job like it, in the sense that you just check your subtlety in at the door, and, you know, be as camp and over the top as possible. I want a fucking costume.
And Colin's take on it is he's going to play it like part Sid Vicious, part Alex from Clockwork Orange.
Really Irish piece of trash.
Colin, a lot of people don't know he's even Irish because he's never done Irish. He always plays American. And so this will be the first film where he actually plays his own accent.
It's a branding. I mean, it's John Jackson and Deborah who are doing the makeup you know, they made it and they put it on every day. And if I sweat, it starts to bubble, so they have to fucking rip it off and put another one on. But it's great, man. I mean, feel it.
Wow, it's very skin-like.
Yeah, it's gelatin. But yeah, he would have just had a board and branded it. It's a branding. You know, it's not a tattoo. Or they were going to do a tattoo. I mean, you know, in the comic book, he's in a pair of blue fucking tights, and thank God they knocked that one on the head. And then they were going to have a tattoo, and then Mark decided it'd be better for, you know, the idea of him just branding himself. I think they are trying to distinguish different people's fighting styles, you know what I mean? With my stuff being more tricky, being not so much close combat as just wanting to throw at you and put you down from far away. Jennifer and Ben's characters having much more similar fighting style than anyone else. And then, of course, there's fucking Michael Clark Duncan, who could, you know, bust out a fart and you would just drop with the power of it because he's so huge. So I think he's about crushing.
The only time I was drawn to the Daredevil comic books was when Kingpin was in it, because he was this big guy, he's a bald-headed guy, and he could fight really well for his size. Even though I wasn't that good at fighting, I still kind of drew to that character. So when Mark Steven Johnson came to me and said, "We want you to play the Kingpin," oh man, you try to be cool, you know, because you're in negotiations, so you don't want to know you really want the job. So you're like, yeah, well, I don't know. I got some other things going on. But inside, I'm like, yeah, oh, Kingpin, yes. So I really wanted this role very badly. And once he told me that, I was just like, I just dove in.
I think Michael's the best big man working today. And in the comic books, Kingpin is white. I was adamant that we get the best actor for the role and the best big man for the role, and that was Michael. So I think, you know, the spirit of the character is much better served by going by the best person for the role instead of trying to match, you know, color, skin tones.
Well, first of all, Mark told me I had to gain weight because I was at 305 maybe when I met with Mark last year, and he said, well, you know, Kingpin's a big guy, so you got to at least get up to 335.
I looked at him and I said, Michael, you're so skinny. You've got to gain 20 pounds easy. And he said, oh, man, call my manager. So we got his manager on the phone. He's like, listen to what he says. He puts me on the phone. And I had to tell her, you know, Michael's too skinny. I love him to do the part, but he's just too skinny. And she's just like, oh, my God, don't tell him that.
And 3, 2, 1, go.
You did like this, you got thrown, and was like, you know, because that'll look like, oh, that hurts. You know what I mean? Like the horn and the top of the helmet, like, doom. You know? So you like break it like this, you know, and kind of frame it. Yeah.
That's hard.
That right here on the pushy. It was funny because he got these shorts on and these gym shoes and a t-shirt, and he's giving orders, man, like he's been working hard all day. And then this is what, 10 o'clock?
You see me this morning, dude, when I was doing some serious business. You weren't here. I don't have you bring
No,
you up
we
for
came
that.
in at the same time. We came in at the same time.
Never mind. No.
What did you do that I didn't do? I've been in my outfit all day. What are you doing?
This is your outfit.
Look
That's
at
fine.
your shirt is all clean and fresh. No dirt on it. Nothing. Look at it. Okay, move. Look at it. It's nothing on you, man. Nothing, man. You're short. You're just like, yeah, man. Are you gonna do something today? I just want to know.
And 3, 2, 1, go.
Be quick in the speed.
Set. Yep. Okay, set. And 3, 2, 1, go.
Cut it. You see my head through the window already? I'm like,
The first one was kind of. First one was just like this. Everybody did like this. Look at it. Okay. Nobody say nothing. I don't back to like this.
That would be the best way.
You went in there about 2, 3. And then you stood up like, yeah. A little bitty circle. I'm like, wait a minute, man. I did not stand up like, yeah. You did, because if you did, you just said, like, yeah. It was just one little. I said, oh, he got like this. I said, if you don't do that again, I'm a clown. Now the second was the ball. Because you did it like, oh. I was like, okay.
A lot of the so-called superheroes, you know, you see actors who are playing them, and they're tiny people. I mean, they're 5'9", or they're 5'8", or they're just, you don't believe it. A lot of people don't realize that about Ben. He's 6'3". He's a big guy.
Every fight in the movie, every challenge that Daredevil overcomes, Mark and I talked about giving a different look to each of those in order to bring out something unique about each fight there. So as we go into Fist's office, you finally find Daredevil in a world that is absolutely unlike anything that he's used to. It's very reflective. There's windows, there's glass, there's stainless steel, which all reflects sounds and reverberates them and makes it very difficult for him to have any sense of what's going on in that room.
The Fist set with Michael Clark, we were concerned about everybody's comfort on the set, so we actually we heated the water also that was spraying on all the actors during that scene. Michael Clark dealt with it pretty well. I mean, the floor it was like an ice skating ring. We had little bits of silicone representing the glass so that if they fell down, they wouldn't get hurt. So we replaced all the actual glass with silicone rubber glass, and that tended to be a little slippery along with the water.
Basically what we're going to do is Chris will take off from an air duct, air conditioning duct up on top of 6. He will end up on rooftop 1. We're going to do this safely. We're going to do this nice and slowly, make sure everyone's 100% ready.
The night shoots for us add a little difficulty to what we're doing just because everybody's biological clocks are a little off and everybody's a little tired, and you get run down and you're tired, and then a lot of times you're trying to do this pretty visual, pretty dangerous stuff, late hours of the morning, and you're always concerned about everybody.
Oh, I got you right in the nuts. Oh!
All right, bring in Daredevil number 2, please.
I couldn't know what the fuck was happening. Those pigeons were standing on my head. Did I miss the kick? I couldn't see the kick. It was pigeons. It was chaos. Attacked by a killer pigeon.
Action.
It's getting to be like a practical joke. That pigeon hurt.
And set.
And action.
Remember me, murderer?
She's a dancer, I think that's the flexibility is the biggest thing really with martial arts stuff, like kicks and punches and stuff, and she's tough, she wants to do the stunts, she can do it, she doesn't ever complain.
Put camera left, Tom.
You guys are okay with it? You make the first couple moves sort of faster?
Sure. Let's just rehearse it real quick, okay? Because I also want to look closer together, but I want to be safe. So
the first couple moves will be like...
Ready?
Yeah. See, the thing is, I gotta whip this out in the interim.
Well, why don't I do one of these?
You should pull it out. You should pull it out when you're...
yeah,
I'll pull it out when I'm down.
you give her that beat to do the twirl, though. That's good, though, Jen, because that adds so much energy to it every time you do it.
You can back up, and you can be backing up during this.
Okay.
I was messing with Jennifer Garner ever since I've been on the shoot. But once I saw her do that flip off the wall, I said, you know what, I'm gonna give it up to you. I said, I'm not messing with you anymore, because anybody that can run and do a flip off the wall is really good to me.
I don't know if I'd be able to beat her up in real life. If the cameras weren't there, I'd say she'd kick my ass, man. She's a tough bird. Tough bird from all that A's and stuff, I'm sure.
Nice.
Mark is one of the hugest Daredevil fans on the planet, and also somebody with the clearest vision of almost anyone I've ever met. He had been planning this film in his head since he was 14 years old. It was so important for Mark to be true to the comic book, and I think the fans will appreciate that as much as we did.